Hi YouTube, it's the Yin here,
And I'm the Yang.
and we're from Wife and Wife Blog on Facebook. Today we're making this video to talk about second parent adoptions. We've decided to do a second parent adoption. Here in our state, same-sex marriage is legal, as well as both mothers are able to be on the birth certificate from day one, from the date of birth or whenever you fill out the certificate form. But we've still decided to do the second parent adoption. I know some couples are like, well, I was able to go on the birth certificate, so I'm not worried about the second parent adoption. But for us, it was still something really important and a biggie for us to do because we have a lot of family. Well, all of our family live out of state.
In the South.
Yeah, and of course, once we get outside of our little state here and outside of any state that doesn't recognize same-sex marriage, they have the option of ignoring the birth certificate. So if something were to happen to Cade while we're, say, in Florida, and if something were to happen to me, they could deny Yang the right to make any decisions for him, which is something we definitely don't want, and my family could decide that they want to try to keep him from her. And in a lot of states that don't recognize same-sex marriage, don't see us as a couple, they can ignore the birth certificate and she would be a virtual stranger to our child without the second parent adoption.
Right. So as you can see, she basically listed all the reasons why we thought it was important to go ahead and follow through with that. There's different ways you can go about it. You can go about it yourself and figure out which motions to file with the court and file all the motions yourself and things like that. But we honestly don't have the time to do all that ourselves. And fortunately, my company reimburses for legal fees related to adoptions. So that's great. So we decided to go the attorney route. So we chose an attorney, and who are you?
I'm tired.
I'm tired. We'll make this quick. Like, we chose an attorney. I'm gonna tell you, you don't have to be in this one. I got this one if you want.
What will I do? Go to sleep?
I'll be asleep. Not go to sleep on me. So we went the attorney route. So they just the first meeting with the attorney, they just asked about our relationship, how long we've been together, how we conceived Cade,
Our jobs.
Yeah, they just basically got to know us and how long we've been together and stuff like that. So we told them that we've been together 7 years. We're married. Had a commitment ceremony in our home state. Came up here, got legally married. We conceived Cade through assisted reproductive technologies, which is very important. That's the fact that we're legally married and that we use an unknown donor using assisted reproductive technologies. That's like a slam dunk basically for second parent adoptions. They're like, wow, this case is gonna be like super easy. There's no legal contest. What do you call it? Legal contest. Contesting from either side of our family. The donor's not an issue because he's an unknown donor. We used to do a sperm bank.
So that's something you may want to think about if you're, and also if you're in a state that allows second parent adoption. That's something you need to look into though to make sure your state even offers it. But if they do and you're using a known donor, like things can get a little tricky with that. Especially if you're doing at-home insemination, because a lot of times, if a medical professional was not present at the time, there's a lot you have to go through to actually be able to do it. Just simply having the donor sign a paper saying, hey, I gave this sperm and this kid is not mine, basically won't cut it. A lot of times you have to have the donor legally terminate his rights, and you have to put notices out in the newspaper and all this stuff to be able to get through the adoption. So that's something you may want to think about if you plan to do a second parent adoption and you're using a known donor.
Yeah, because it could...
Well, go ahead. Oh, I was just going to say there's a lot more legal loopholes you'll have to jump through for using, legal hoops, not loopholes, for using a known donor and trying to do the second parent adoption.
Right, and I was going to say, like, it may be cheaper to do the at-home insemination with a known donor. Like, it's little to no cost with that unless you're kicking them back a little something. But, the money you save doing inseminations, you have to pay twice as much, 3 times as much, or 4 times as much for the legal litigations to do the second parent adoption. So I would think about that as well. So yeah, we met with the attorneys, gave them all that information, and then they said, okay, well, we'll draft up all the affidavits you all need to sign and file all the motions for us. So we filed a motion to waive usually there's a 6-month residency requirement of the child in the home. So we applied to have that waived because we plan to travel back down south at the beginning of the year, and we need that done as soon as possible. So we filed to have that waived, which the judge accepted that. We filed to have the home study waived.
Yeah, that was like a big one for us because we felt like since we're a married couple, we conceived the child together in the relationship.
It's her biological kid.
Yeah, we didn't want someone nosing around in our house as if we were under care of the Child Protective Services or something. We felt that would be kind of like violating our home and
not to mention expensive.
Yeah,
like
because you also have to pay for them to come out.
Yeah, and you have to meet with a psychiatrist, have to sit down with you and talk to you like you're crazy or something. I don't know. So yeah, we filed to have that waived, which was approved.
The public notice.
Yes.
And that was the newspaper thing.
Yeah. So we don't have to put in the newspaper that, we're yin and yang and we use a sperm donor, unknown donor through assisted reproductive technologies to conceive our son, right in the newspaper. So we filed to have that, and we waited on approval for that one, but that one should be approved very soon. So once the judge approves all that, in the next couple weeks, we should get our court date. And when we get our court date, it's basically we just go in there. This is what our attorney said. Basically just go in there, and the judge. It's a happy occasion. The judge sits down and says, "Okay, well, I proved X, Y, and Z. I now declare that the Yang, you are officially baby Yang Yang's legal parent, and this judge's decision is irrevocable, and nobody or anyone will be able to tell you that that's not your son." Then we get a little adoption decree, and I think we get a new birth certificate too.
Well, you're already on the birth certificate.
Yeah, I know, but I think we get a new one.
I don't know. We might. I know some states or some hospitals, the form you fill out originally says like mother and father, and a lot of same-sex couples, if the hospital or the state allows, they cross out father and just write in the second mother's name. And so on the birth certificate, when it prints out, one of the non-bio mom will be listed as the father. But since here they have the option where it says mother/parent, father/parent, we just circled parent on both. So his birth certificate, we just had a copy today, but I believe it reads parent and parent, or either mother and parent. It doesn't list father, so I'm not quite sure if we'll actually need a brand new birth certificate.
I don't know, I'm just saying with the text,
because usually if with the situation with the father someone being listed as a father, a new birth certificate would be necessary, or if you're changing the child's last name afterwards.
Yeah.
Say like they took the bio mom's last name, then after the adoption you want to take the non-bio mom's last name, then a new birth certificate would be required. But I'm not sure in our situation, since nothing basically will be changing on the birth certificate, if we'll need a brand new one. But
okay,
I guess that doesn't really matter. But the adoption decree is what's important, because since it's a legal court-ordered decree, it can't be taken away. Like, states are mandated to recognize it, whereas the birth certificate isn't a legal court order, so they can choose to acknowledge that or not acknowledge it. So.
Right. So I could take that with me to Alaska if I want to, and they're like, "That's my son." You all right, little man?
Oh,
he's okay.
Yeah, he's taking a nap and just coughing a little. Oh, that's why he's not in the video too. He's taking a nap right now, so we're trying to get some videos done.
Yeah,
while
he's good.
Napping.
But yeah, so you get the adoption decree the same day. So we walk out the court with the adoption decree in hand. Make some copies of that bad boy. And we travel down to Florida, make sure we keep that in our pocket. And yeah, that's basically it. So we met with them in September, I believe, and it should be done by the end of the year. So like,
we're hoping to have it done
hopefully
before Christmas. Like, I'm hoping to have it done before
yeah, our
Christmas.
attorney said it should definitely by the holidays should definitely be all set. So 3 months, hopefully, which is actually really good. It was really fast. But yeah, well, that's the route we chose. As far as costs, we put a cap on it. Our attorneys put a cap on it, so our cap was demonetizing the cost.
Sure.
Yeah, people want to know. All right, so our cost, the cap was $3,000, flat rate. So yeah, and like I said, fortunately, you can check with your companies and look at the benefits and just see if they have like adoption assistance program or reimbursement or something. You know, maybe they do. So definitely, check that out. And there's also adoption tax credit, so you can also claim it on your taxes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if your company doesn't reimburse it or doesn't cover it, you can claim it on your taxes
And it'll reduce your
your
taxable
income.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely do that as well. Keep receipts of everything, copies of receipts, everything. But yeah, so that's our second parent adoption story. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. We are open book, and we'll answer any questions that you have about second parent adoptions. But we think it's an important thing to do.
Yeah. So
Alright.
that's about it.
That's it.
If you like, you can join our Facebook group. It's Lesbian TTC Pregnancy and Parenting. Just look us up and you can request to join. I'll add you right away. Well, actually, I usually add people usually within a day or so because I'm on there nearly every day. So we'll talk to you later. Bye.